please. Okay, welcome everybody. This is Thursday, the 4th of November, 2021, and this is the weekly Helm Dev call. As usual, we're going to kick off with any announcements we have, then we'll get into the discussions, and then we'll open it up for any other open discussions that you may have. At all times, just give us a shout if you want to answer, if you want to ask something, and we'll go with that. So to kick off with, the announcement is Karen has added last year. Oh, okay, has added the last year. Okay, so there's a link on the community page, which will show the recordings of the previous year's meetings. So if you want to check them out, if you missed anything, is that what it is?
You might be scrolled down a little bit in the document, but the November 4th announcements, I did want to remind everyone that the next scheduled release is coming up January 12th, 2022, which is a year that actually exists that we have to think about, which is horrifying. And so I think the week before that is when we're going to try to lock in that release. But hey, if you're dropping things in the milestone right now, or maybe reviewing things in there, that would be super awesome. And then also I asked, and then I asked Fisher also about the upcoming, there was a milestone, which I didn't understand, but apparently, and I don't know if you want to clarify about that, Fisher, but apparently we preemptively create milestones and then wait until some amount of time. And then if they're empty, maybe a week out, which might be now, then we don't do that release. And I was just kind of like, I hope that things don't appear in that milestone like a day before it's supposed to go out and then suddenly it's a rush. Anyway, I just wasn't sure exactly what the timing on that was.
Yeah, so for this was actually some of the work that oh goodness. My name is
Mark did that. Yeah, Mark did.
Yeah, Mark did that. So Mark worked on HIP 2, which basically gives you a predefined release schedule for all these things. So on the on Wednesdays, I believe it's the first Wednesday of the month or something along those lines, a patch release is scheduled for that time. And so we just create the milestone that's going to be coming up to that, because it's a predefined time that we know that we're going to go and release it. So if there are any issues that come up in between that time frame of like the next patch milestone to be scheduled, then we'll go and cut that in. But if it's not, like if there's nothing to be released, there's no real point of doing a patch release. So if that's the case, then we'll probably extend it to the next patch release scheduling, which is next December. We'll just extend the deadline for that one to the next date, and we'll just keep on running that through, because we won't be releasing like a 3.7.3 without first releasing 3.7.2. So yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
So in other words, if we have something to release, we'll release, Matt. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. If we don't have anything to release, then we'll just extend the date and keep going forward with that, and then go to the next minor release. So yeah, just following that HIP 2 is a good reference point for that one.
Yeah, because that was a great thing that Mark put in, because up to that, we just did releases when we got around to it, but at least now it puts it on a schedule and people can look ahead if we have it or not. So apologies before that. I was on September the 30th for some reason. So thank you, Bridget, for saving me from no man's land. Okay, any other announcements that anyone would like to put in? Okay, let's go to the discussion. So Bridget, you're after raising, should we cancel the call for Thanksgiving? I think Canada has done their Thanksgiving. Is that correct? And it's down to the US Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
is that it?
Canadian Thanksgiving is 1 month prior to American Thanksgiving. We actually found out it's because the harvest seasons are earlier in Canada traditionally than it is in the United States. So that's the reason for why Canadian Thanksgiving is 1 month sooner than American Thanksgiving.
It's the same day as the US Columbus Day.
Yes.
Okay. This is great education for us over in Europe. So what do people think? Do you want to cancel for Thanksgiving? Do we normally think we do normally cancel for Thanksgiving because most people are in the US, isn't that correct? Okay. All right. So yeah, let's go for it, I suppose. And yeah, anyone disagree with that or would still like to hold a meeting? The one or two of us that might attend. Okay, so it looks like we have a unanimous cancel. So, okay, that's great. The next one from Bridget is.
Oh, sorry, I should have made
Yeah.
separate items. There were a few dates. I was looking at my calendar and thinking, I'm going to miss Thursday, December 23rd. I'm going to definitely also miss Thursday, December 30th, since I'll be in a cabin with limited internet in the North Woods in the snow. And so I thought,
Okay.
let's just make sure, since other people might have vacations scheduled, let's just make sure we have some people who are committing to be here or we cancel. Yeah.
Okay, so
So-
Thanksgiving is the 25th, is that correct?
Yeah, so it looks like we had a lazy consensus. Yes, cancel Thursday, November 25th. And then my question that continues is Thursday, December 23rd, yes, no, Thursday, December 30th, yes, no. Yeah, if you want to kind of take the poll of the electorate about
Okay.
those dates.
Okay.
Yeah, we could definitely ask in the Helm developer call if people are going to be there, but I think it's a safe assumption to say that most people will be off on vacation those times, especially since they're so close to winter holidays, New Year's and Christmas in particular. But yeah, we can definitely ask if people want to come along. They're more than welcome to, but generally speaking, like there's not usually either many people who want to come along to those because they're on vacation or something else. So, but yeah. I will definitely not be there. I will be in London the whole time.
Okay, so yeah, let's put it out there. I probably won't be around myself during those periods, so yeah. Okay, are we okay on the holidays front? Sorry, whatever I'm reading today, I'm off script totally. So
Are we up to Valentine's Day yet? Should we start talking about February 14th?
yeah, if Valentine's ever hit on a Thursday, we're canceling that one, okay? just because we can. Right, back to more. I promise I'm a professional on this. I'm going to get back to order on this one. Right, we're with the OCI support 3.7.1 fixes. So you commented on that, Fisher.
Yeah, and I don't know if you just saw, but Steve Lesker just added an additional question about the use of version. So I don't know if we want to address that while we're speaking on this before we move on, or if async.
So I added something in the website last week with this, so I'll comment right now.
Go for it, Josh.
I wanted to put an additional item on there on OCI. I'm just opening this up in under my Chrome identity that allows me to edit this doc. Right, okay.
Okay, while Scott's editing that, I wanted to make sure I understood for the notes, the resolution of the holidays I was proposing, we outright cancel the call. And I think what I heard is we should ask on the call in coming weeks and see if there's somebody who wants to run it. But yeah, at least some of us have said we're not going to run it. And we can't really have the call without somebody here to like record it and moderate it. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure that people who wanted to attend didn't show up and find nobody doing any agenda for them.
Yeah. Till Skynet
Like I would rather
in,
have there be clarity. Yeah.
Yeah. Till Skynet comes in, it's going to be a people orientated weekly call, I think, you know.
Okay. So it looks like we're canceling the November 25th and we will see about the December ones. Perfect.
So who's given some feedback on the OCI?
So yeah, so I looked into this one, and like Josh mentioned, that he did write up some documentation that was updated for Helm 3.7. I reviewed that, and it looks like in this particular situation, it does appear to be fixed. So I did add a comment at the end of that little issue just to say, hey, here's what you can do with the current version of Helm 3.7. It does appear that the original issue has been fixed by these changes that were recently merged in. So they should be resolved, but if people come back and say I've tested Helm 3.7 and things aren't working, then we can definitely kind of revisit that and see where things go.
Okay, Bridget mentioned as well, Matt, that Steve Lasker has added a comment about a couple of minutes ago on this. So if you get a chance, you might want to reply on that. Okay, so anyone else got a comment on the OCI, or will we move on from here?
Sorry, I couldn't find my browser. I made a comment there. So hopefully Steve sees that.
Yeah, I believe we've discussed this a little bit at length, and I think it's at both in HIP 6 as well as in the documentation now. So yeah, I think Josh's comment should suffice. So but yeah, we can follow and circle back on this one too if need.
Yeah, technically, like we could allow the colon as in place of version, but I think Matt, you and I talked about this at length, and it was to plug deeper into the downloader code.
Yeah, it was mostly to do with how we do version selection and pull those things. And it's more of like a semantic difference between chart repositories and OCI. We could definitely enable it at some point if people like really wanted that syntax, but there's no real difference between that and the version flag other than just like semantic
Agree.
semantics between like OCI, how Docker uses tags, and how Helm uses versions. So yeah, I think that's a good conversation in the HIP and everything else that's going on.
Thanks, folks. Okay, so moving on. Scott, you're after mentioning about an update on the Aurus and Helm OCI progress.
Yeah, I just wanted to be kind of quick about this to keep up with what we had talked about before. Josh Dolitsky, Josh D. I'm saying your last name because there's a Josh Wolf on this PR. So you had specified pointed to a few things that are required. This was one of the major ones that stuck out immediately. Was updating, basically exactly what we're doing in this PR is making sure to update Aurus to the 0.5.0 release and refactor the logic to match. There's one outstanding thing is, I know this doesn't relate as much, I know this isn't an Aurus call, but it's only as an update because it relates to the goal of moving OCI. Yeah.
I can give a short update here. So the issue, so there is a new API in Aurus that makes it more flexible. That's reflected in the 0.5 version. So this PR, thank you, by the way, to Josh for doing that. This basically validates that it still works with the new API. What's happening now is the layers are non-ordinal, meaning they're sorted based on the digest. And so I'm not sure that it matters or not. I wish Farina was here to talk a bit, but I don't think it matters. I actually don't, because we're looking for a layer that matches a specific thing. And we're no longer looking at like index 0 or index 1 for the tarball or the provenance. So I'm tempted to say it's fine, but I have a question out with the maintainers about this. And then beyond that, if this does work fine, there is discussions to move the Aurus library into a 1.0 state so we can feel more comfortable dropping experimental sooner.
Yeah. And my question, I guess, the quick question is, we can follow up on this so it's not taking up more of the Helm call, but just would it be appropriate to, I mean, do you think we're already at a point where we could do, you know, like a 1.0.0 alpha or beta 1 or something like this in the next Aurus release? And then, yeah.
Yeah, I would, do you know Sajay? I would get in touch with him. There's a few changes I think that they're trying to get in related to stuff that doesn't concern this. And also there was talks about like ripping out container D, which I do not know what that will affect. Hopefully that wouldn't affect the stability of Helm, but I don't, I'm a little bit out of the loop with that, to be honest. So I would reach out to Sajay, Steve. Sajay is probably, from a technical perspective, who you want to talk to.
Okay, great. I will. And just for the purpose of Helm and how it released Helm, I think the thing is, regardless of what might happen with Aurus, as long as there is a solid backwards compatibility plan, then those details can be worked out in the Aurus project, you know? So it's like one of those things where if it does need to bump to a new major version because of some backward compatible change, well, that's why Helm will be able to then depend on its 1.0 version, you know? And then any other changes can be addressed separately, but with, you know, we can actually be secure, feel secure that it's not going to just be ripped out from under us.
Yeah, I think from an API perspective, we're close. Yeah, there's a lot of like, I don't know if anyone's following stuff around references, reference types. There's a whole bag of changes that I have nothing really to do with, and I don't know if that's trying to be part of this 1.0 or not.
Okay.
If it's not, we're very close. So I don't know.
Okay, great. Yeah, so maybe I'll just offline with you about who to connect with about trying to make sure that we get those defined. Okay. All right, thanks. And also thanks, Matt, or Fisher, for the comments about ordinality. I was thinking the same thing, and I know that there were some issues with tarball. Basically, all the issues with layer ordering that I understand for these artifacts that are non-container artifacts just don't really, they're not really a factor for Helm, if I understand correctly, right? Like, for example, we've got our provenance file, and we've got our, you know, our other files, and they really don't, they're not things like, you know, we're not supporting things like ordered tarball that require certain files to be there before the next one executes or whatever, right? Like in terms of Helm, where we can sort of like say for us that's not a factor. Or
yeah,
do you think
I think we could say that's not a factor for us, at least at the time being. Because I know there have been people who have been interested in having their Helm chart and their Docker images co-located in the same registry, or at least in the same area, so they could have like one artifact for their entire like Helm chart. Like they'd have your manifest declare on some particular Docker image, and that you can pull those down at the same time. If that's the case, then we might be in the business of also packaging and shipping up a Docker image at the same time. And then that question of multiple like Docker image layers and how they're, I don't really understand if it's like the Docker manifest that tells you which layers or SHAs are the ones that get copied over on the copy on write file system. But that would be good to investigate, I guess, on Aurus' side, if you can like pull and push Docker images, and if they care about the ordinality of whether certain layers are in some certain order, or if it's just doesn't matter whatsoever. The Docker image manifest tells you how to expand those images out onto the file system so you can execute the image. And I think that is the way it goes, but these assumptions have always been wrong sometimes. So you can always find surprising bugs here and there from that kind of stuff. But for the most part, like for Helm right now, that should not be an issue whatsoever. Because
Okay,
we
so
do search on
summarize
content.
that part. You know what I mean? Some of the other details about what we do. I'm just going to post a link to this PR right now where that conversation is happening. I don't want to ask you to do more homework because I'm sure you're doing a lot of things, but if there's some of those pieces, those questions that are, I dropped some of what you just said, and there are a few of the threads that I'm not totally sure I would summarize well. So would you want to collaborate with me quickly on a summary for that, on how it affects Helm?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I can go and take a look at this issue and see if it's at least kind of, or do a little bit of research here.
I think that's it for me for that one, unless anyone else has anything related to needs for Aurus that are specific for Helm, except for just a dependable backwards compatibility contract.
Okay. Thank you, folks. Okay, that's all we have for the discussions on the doc. Anyone got any other open discussions they want to raise?
Oh, there is one, actually, really fast. Matt Freen was telling me that I know the voting got kind of a little bit confused at a certain point, but that I am a Helm maintainer now, and I guess I just need to do onboarding. So I should at least mention it.
Yeah, it looks like he said something in our maintainers list 5 minutes after the meeting started. So yeah, congratulations.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
Breaking news, yeah. Well, I just hope I can be like, I know there's certain things I can help with and that I'm focusing on, and I just, should be able to be helpful across the board. So if there's anything that I'm falling down on, if y'all want to just let me know, or if there's something that I missed, I'm open to feedback and appreciate that.
Congratulations, Scott. Great to have you on board. Okay, anything else apart from that?
I think we just need somebody for triage next week. I don't know. It needs to be a maintainer, maybe Martin. I don't know if we have other maintainers.
Yeah, I can't commit at the moment, but let me see. So
I'm just laughing because Scott was on as kind of a ramping up last week. It's like, I mean, if he wanted to be, but.
Yeah, the funny thing is I never actually was able to shadow anyone. So I'm definitely happy to. What would be, I don't know if it makes it easier on you, Martin, but I could do, I could do the shadowing / legwork stuff.
Yep, we can see. Okay, so reach out to me and I'll see what I can do. I don't know what the week ahead holds, so yeah. Okay, folks, anything else? All right, we're finishing on time. So thank you very much for everybody who joined today, and have a good week ahead.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.